Welcome back. You're still watching Business Morning on Channels Television, and we're broadcasting live from Lagos, Nigeria. Well, I'm being joined on the program live via Skype by Rotimi Fakayejo as a stockbroker with the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Good morning, Rotimi, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Morning, Harriet.
Now, a 1.42% drop in key indicators, just as the market is winding down for the year. What drags the key indicators down? Well, Rotimi, what I'm asking is that we noticed that there was a drop, a 1.42% drop in key indicators yesterday, and the market is actually winding down for the year. What dragged the key indicators down?
Well, we saw on Monday a leap of about 2.25% as a result of a gain of 20 Naira by Dangote Cement Plc. And equally yesterday, we saw a drop of about 9 Naira by Dangote Cement Plc. That was basically the reason why we saw that.
About 10 Naira.
About 10 Naira. That's basically the reason why we saw that drop yesterday. So he goes on to tell us the kind of impact that that Dangote Cement Plc has on the market capitalization and the Osha index. So I think basically is really nothing out of place, because I believe what it seems to have lost now, it definitely will regain as you go on before the end of the year.
Now, Rotimi, was there price evaluation in some blue chip stocks apart from Dangote that you mentioned?
Yes, there was, but I don't. We saw a price valuation in WAPO, Lafarge WAPO, and a few others. But I think what actually happened to Dangote Cement was basically responsible for the sharp drop that we saw yesterday. And to me, I believe, like I said earlier, it's still going to regain what it lost, and if not much more. So we are still going to see the index getting getting above 40,000 basis points before the year ends.
Now, looking at yesterday's activity, was there anything unusual? Were there any stocks that started any unusual trends during the session?
Well, I think yesterday what was very peculiar was the fact that more than 70% of equity traded yesterday in volume and in value were stocks in the banking sector. And I think for quite a while we've not really seen that happening. We've been seeing a mix of stocks from different sectors contributing to the total volume done in a day. For the first time for about 2 weeks or thereabout, we saw all the 5 stocks that topped the volume chart being banking stocks. The topmost of them was FCMB with a volume of over 230 million, about 238 million shares. We saw Unity Bank, and we saw about 3 other ones as such. And I think that was the only thing that was unusual yesterday. And we saw a sort of equilibrium trading in some of the stocks. We didn't see as much drop as evident in several other days, except for that we saw in Dangote Cement. So I believe basically the market yesterday was really very stable, except for the sharp drop that we saw in Dangote Cement.
Okay, now we noticed that for yesterday's trading session, we didn't see Nestle losing so much. Does this mean that investors are taking a soft pedaling now, or backtracking on how much profit they take off Nestle?
Well, I think the more interesting thing about Nestle yesterday was the fact that at the time it was trading at 1,175 Naira before it later dropped, before it later gained marginally by about 5 Naira. So I think if it had gained the way it did yesterday, at least to an extent, the market would have lost up to 1% with that contribution coming from Nestle Foods. So I think investors are giving it a rethink again. And I believe, like I said, it is still, before the year ends, it is still trade above 1,200 from the indicators that we saw yesterday.
What about Nigerian breweries?
Yes, I think for Nigerian breweries, there's been a high selling pressure on that stock. Where it's coming from, we don't really know. But I think the important thing to note is that it's not really, it's not cutting across. That is, there aren't too many stockbrokers that are actually selling down. I think the order is coming from a particular stockbroking firm, and I believe by the time the volume is exhausted, we'll see the price rise again. But for now, I think if the selling pressure subsides today, definitely we will see the Nigerian breweries turning around. And I believe that with the kind of change that we saw in Dangote Cement, there's still every likelihood that even before the end of the year, we might see Nigerian breweries turning close to 180 Naira as it were.
Well, Rotimi, although you've already mentioned it, with this bearish momentum in the market likely be reversed in today's session.
Yes, I foresee that happening.
Now, how much of it?
Well, I can't really say, but I believe the change that we saw in Dangote Cement, we may not really see that kind of drop again, and we're most likely to see a change in the price of Nigerian breweries positively, and even more gain coming for next day.
Well, thank you so much, Rotimi, for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. Do have a profitable trading session.
Thank you, Harriet.
Well, I've been speaking with a stockbroker with the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Rotimi Fakayejo, and we've been taking a look at those numbers. Well, he's optimistic that if some blue chip stocks like Dangote Cement and Guinness Nigeria, if they reverse the losses that they recorded yesterday, then the market might close in win ways. And he's also still optimistic that the market is going to finish on a bright note at the end of the year. But we'll keep tracking those numbers as they come. And let's look at other markets outside our shores. Yesterday, the U.S. market actually finished all in the red, slightly lower ahead of the Fed taper decision. Well, we know that the Fed Reserve has been meeting since yesterday.